Hello, my name is Al Blair. The marketing team has asked me to provide you with an overview presentation and a video for our website for the eTEK Construction Systems product, which is our #1 product in our company. And this, of course, as you probably already know, consists of not just the accounting, but also the job cost project management features that are required for anybody that's in the construction industry or a project-oriented business. And what do I mean by that? You'll see across the top, and of course we're using the graphical user interface design that Microsoft uses. The look and the feel is the same as their applications. This demonstration is one of our current, based upon the current Office 2013. So each tab is a program, or a module, if you will, that makes up your system. So the eTEK Construction Systems are designed to meet your needs, and they'll have those programs, those modules that you need. By definition, our core product includes the accounts payable, accounts receivable, general ledger, budgeting, cash management, and job cost, as well as system utilities that all go together in the core product. These optional add-on modules are available, like payroll and sales and purchasing and inventory, depending upon what you need. Quite often we will include the purchase order. This seems to be one of the more popular, as well as payroll. And of course sales is the same thing as work orders in our product, as well as inventory, being all tied together. So let me start with the structure, because that gives you an idea kind of where we're coming from. Let me start in terms of the general ledger structure, the actual accounting structure. I'm going to go out to System Utilities, and in the company profile I'm going to quickly go to the General Ledger tab. Everything's default driven, so you don't have to re-enter account numbers on all the records and all the transactions. This is where you're establishing what you want to use for your retainage account or your accounts receivable account, etc. But let me just double click this to talk a little bit about structure. There's 4 segments. They are, as shown here, you've got a GL number. Now the number and the description are defined obviously by you or your accountant. You don't have to, but you can establish operating divisions within your consolidated company. You could also, within those divisions, establish departments within those divisions. The point is that in our software, if you want to or need to, you can have as an extensive and a broad of an organizational structure in your accounting system as you need. Now, having said all of that, the important thing to keep in mind is on the job cost side, when you're defining your projects and jobs, this is a full, complete, multi-phase program, so that within you can define any number of tasks that belong to any number of phases, and again, the numbers and the descriptions are yours. And a job could consist of multiple phases, or in fact, a project could consist of multiple jobs. So project, job, phase, and task is a 4-segment structure, very similar to what we have in the GL. How does this all come together? The point is that I'm just going out here arbitrarily grabbing a typical accounting transaction to show you how these things come together, and I'm just editing an existing accounts payable invoice or a test record that's been put into the system. What is highlighted on your screen is the major point I want to make. Our software marries or connects what you've defined and set up as your project, job, phase, task accounting on the left. It marries it and connects it on every detail line item of every type transaction, whether that's payroll, material, accounts receivable, etc. So the linkage between the GL number and the job cost number is handled for you by eTEK. The days of having to bog down a GL numbering scheme with reference numbers or something that are used for project and job, those days are long gone, and that's all I wanted to show you here. Okay, let me go ahead and move right on into, I'm going to basically pick out of the AR. There's at least 6 different kinds of invoicing, AR billing kind of capabilities. The one that's most popular, other than the AIA and the contract billing, would be in fact the time and materials billing, and so I want to talk a little bit about that because that's such a popular feature in our product. And in fact, we've been told independently that at this point in time in the business, we may have one of the most powerful, flexible T&M billing capabilities built in. Now, I'm just going to arbitrarily grab what's been predefined as bill rate schedule number 1. What you're doing with our T&M billing is you're saying, okay, I'm going to establish a schedule that is the way I want to bill for my accounts payable, my payroll, my equipment, etc. Now, the line items here are not, these are just test records, but the interpretation is if you want to mark up your material expenses by some percentage amount, you can certainly do that. Or if you want to just arbitrarily assign a cost to an absolute number, but you can define all of these in terms of billable, non-billable, a dollar amount, a fixed amount, whatever. And over on the payroll side, regardless of what you pay me as your job supervisor, you want to bill me at $75 an hour or $100 an hour, depending on whether it's a time and a half or double time, etc. So you're in complete control of that. So when you get around to actually creating an invoice in the system, the program is going to go out and find all of the unbilled costs, all the labor, material, whatever costs that you haven't billed for a given project or job. It's going to go out there and find it for you, and then you're in control here of deciding, you know, I want to look ahead and see how much of this I want to invoice now, and I'll create the invoice, etc. So for those of you that are just purely service-oriented projects, maybe like in a consulting business, this is a very powerful capability you can build, and you connect up, and I'll show this to you later in a few minutes, you connect up the bill rate schedules that apply by customer and the projects and jobs that you're working on for those customers. I now want to go into the GL side so I don't forget. There's all kinds of financial reports. It's beyond the scope of this introductory demo to go through every one of the trial balances and operating, all that sort of gross profit analysis. We have all of that sort of thing built in. I'm just going to pick an operating statement and show you the setup options, and they include both a standard P&L statement, you know, current period versus year to date, comparative that includes the budget, comparative analysis that focuses on a comparative last year, prior year, and a comparative with a variance analysis, variance percentages are actually computed for you, etc. You can do all detail, you can suppress the budgets, you can do summary, whatever. You can go grab a period back here, for example, and you can pick on a certain division. You want to look at the P&L statement at any point in time, a period back in your history for a given project or a given division or organization. You can certainly do that. Now, the format here is going to be kind of hokey because it's just a test record kind of a thing. But when I blow it up and you see it on the screen, obviously it starts at the top. Depending on how you structured your general ledger accounts, you're going to have sales, cost of sales, job overhead, comparing current period, year to date, both actual to budget, etc., including all the G&A. So all those kind of capabilities and all these reports are modifiable, and then we can customize them and fit them into the nomenclature you use in your organization. Enough on the financial side. Again, your demonstration will drill down to all the, you can do AP templates for recurring invoices. You can do all kinds of inquiries and details down to all the records that are in your system, but there's all kinds of budgeting capabilities here. You can generate the various reports. You can add budgets in terms of yearly and periodic amounts, etc. You can export those to worksheets, etc., etc. But what I want to go, and cash management obviously has any number of reports that relate to disbursements and receipts and sales and purchasing and uncleared checks. Bank reconciliation is included, etc. But I want to move to job costs, and particularly I want to focus on the job cost master record concept that we maintain in our software. And I'm obviously picking a, you can either toggle this to show the description, the description that goes with the account number, with the actual number over here, and it goes out in the system and pulls all the information together here and brings it together to show you the work address, customer address, the project ID, the manager, supervisor, any notes that you want to maintain, drawings you want to attach, etc. The status of this particular project. What kind of project is this? What kind of account do you have here? Is this a certified project for a government organization? Is this time and materials? Again, you set all that up, including the contract number, the contract amount. If there are any approved change orders as of this time, those are shown here for the total contract amount. If there's any pending COs, that need to be approved. If they are approved, then they'll get up into this category. The burden percentages can be assigned by customer, by project, by phase, etc. Estimates, and this is, let me stop for a minute. This is a place you can enter estimates, but we also have a facility in our program to import estimates from your estimating program, your spreadsheets, your whatever tools you want to use, to any level of detail. And keep in mind, to any level of detail. This could be down to phases and tasks if you want. The most important thing from a senior management point of view and a controller point of view is we also include the ability to come in at any point in time when you sit down and review the status of a project or job. You can say, okay, given the cost to date, what's it going to take to finish the job? So if you provide that input into the system, we take that into account when we calculate the revenue earned and the percent of complete, etc. Obviously, we should. Subcontract records, if you've got subcontractors, you've got contracts with subcontractors, those are, those are maintained all together. They belong with this particular project. Has a subcontract been signed? Has a lien been applied? What's it been released? Has this been approved, etc., etc. And on a similar manner, you've got the same thing on the customer side. So we're tracking, obviously, change orders for customers as well as change orders with your subs. And those are all maintained in the system. Here's permits and quality control checkpoints. This terminology is up to you. You define it any way you want, and you can maintain a log and on that. So all that information pulled together in what's called a job cost master. Let me flip back here just for a minute. Remember, I talked a little bit about that T&M schedule. You see where this particular customer, Simplex Time Recorder Company, okay, it's a time and materials job, and we're going to apply the bill rate schedule that we've defined, and this is where we're linking up the project, the bill rate schedule, and the customer are all linked in this master record concept. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, I almost hate to skip over. There's some of these things that are very practical. Here you can get subcontractor. You can see where do I stand with my subcontractors. I'll just grab all of these and bring them all out. And here basically what you're showing here is for a given job, if you will, the cost code is cost code, job number, etc. And here's all the various subcontractors you've got working on that. Here's the contracts you have with them. Any change orders, revised contract amounts. Where do they stand? Subs are typically notorious for being a little behind, and you have to stay on top of what's the balance to be invoiced, all that sort of thing. Those kind of tools are included. I want to make sure you're aware of that. But the number one analysis tool is the question, where do I stand today? Where do I stand right now, as of right now, from a cost point of view? And again, you could toggle to a number, etc. So it brings up on a display here, an online display. Here's compared to the estimate I made for the cost of this. I got $2.8 million worth of estimated costs. Actual to date are broken out here, $1.3 million. Again, this is just test records. So where do I stand actual versus estimated? About 44%. And then, of course, the overhead's applied to get at a total cost position. Now, over on the right-hand side, customer, contract, approved change orders, all that sort of thing that we looked at before. And if you've got any, have you billed to date? What have you billed so far? What's the retainage so far? Incidentally, let me just, you can go at a lot of our, not just job costs, but also in accounting, you can go do a print preview and bring information that's shown on your screen as a result of an inquiry. And then once that's presented, you could either use the quick access toolbars that we provide here. If you want to email this, you can email this right now. You could do a right mouse click and export it to Excel, or there's a lot of ways, PDF files and all that sort of thing. So I'm not going to dwell on that, but I just want to make sure you're aware that those kind of capabilities are built in. But this particular report, this actual versus estimated cost report, online as well as in print format, is a very important part of our software, and obviously a very important of your capabilities to stay on top of things. Another very, very useful part of our tool is, regardless of where these costs come from, the AP side of the house, the labor side of the house, we have a complete, now I'm just going to arbitrarily grab all of these, and I'll change the date range to expand the universe of test data that comes up on the screen. And what you're seeing here, we are often asked the question, can I drill down? Yes, absolutely. And you can pick what part of the, you want to look at AP, you want to look at certain invoices on AP, you want to look at those that have been paid. I want to drill down. Here's the $13,500. I double click here, and not only it shows me the details that were on that, the line item details, showing me the date it was paid and the amount and the check number and all that sort of thing. So yes, we've got that drill down capability. It's organized around the concept of all of these source transactions that are in your system. And again, I can filter those by job number and that sort of thing. As far as the top level reports that I want to highlight, there's so many of them. Let me highlight the work in progress, because that touches on, again, profitability. I'm just going to grab all of them, all the active jobs, and we'll just bring them out on the screen for just a minute. Work in progress for us is actually taking your contract value, whatever it is, down here, the commercial projects. Here's that $5.6 million contract. Here's the original estimated cost. And this is the one where we actually had some test data where someone had entered $2.3 million estimated to finish the job. So taking all that into account, regardless of what the subjective judgment is, out in the field it may look like we're about half done. From a cost point of view, we're about 41.36% complete. And so when everything's said and done, we may have an estimated profit on this project of about $1.5 million. Now, where do we stand job to date? That's the right-hand side of this. Job to date, where we stand is we've earned this much revenue, and we can apply, based upon the percent complete, we can apply this much in committed costs. I failed to mention earlier, if a purchase order has been approved, it's included in committed costs. If a purchase order has not been approved, then it's not included. But anyway, so job to date, we've got a profit of about $650,000. It looks like when we get done, and we're going to be about a $1.5 million profit. So it's an important, obviously, work in progress, a very important part of the top management, project management thing. The other very crucial report here is, and I'm going to go ahead and open all of these, because this is the kind of thing, this is sometimes called over-under billing. The reason I'm going to highlight this is the kind of report you can share. This one at this level is designed to be used with financial institutions and that sort of thing. If you go in and you basically just pick a selective, let me just pick a selective job, and that may be something is of interest, and you summarize that by job within that category, then this is not necessarily designed. It's more for your internal use. And here you're seeing exactly what we talked about a minute ago, and that percent complete is used here in order for you to know what the job to date revenue that you've earned. And you'll see a very similar number here. This is broken down by the job numbers within that project. Again, very crucial top-level management report that I want to make sure that you know is included in your software. Now, the system utilities has a feature that we sometimes don't talk enough about. When you buy our software, install your software, you've got to designate somebody that's the administrative. So I'm now talking to that person in your organization, or persons who may be in the category of the administrative type in charge of your system. The point I simply want to make here is that you're in control of what role. In other words, who has what Alan Berg? What do you want him to have access to payroll? If so, then you can basically, if you want to give him the responsibility for the next year's setup, then it's that simple. The point is, up here where you see all of these icons and all these controls and all that sort of thing in the ribbon, you're in control of who in your system has access to what and what can they do. So that's role-based security. I want to make sure you're aware that that's included at no extra charge. And obviously we've got these common transactions. These are available on almost all the forms you're looking at, as well as online help, etc. Okay, I've tried to race through this to not take too much time, but we very much appreciate your interest. The next step is to schedule, if you haven't done so already, let's schedule a GoToMeeting live one-on-one session with the head of our customer support team, and they'll drill down on the specific things. You may have a lot of questions about budgeting or cash management or bank reconciliation. That's where we'll get into that. Again, thank you for your interest. We very much appreciate it.